Hi, my name is Angie Janovic, and I'm going to be discussing our Module 5. The first article I looked at was Barriers to Using Web 2.0 in 21st Century Schools. And it talked about the impact that this has had on schools and how much schools are investing in technology resources so that students have more access. It's exciting to see all of this innovation beginning to take place. But we also need to make sure that we're integrating these skills and it's enhancing student success and we're not just introducing devices. A few challenges that schools are having, definitely time, which seems to be a challenge for any concept in schools, budget, as always, and definitely support for teachers and the culture of the school, thinking about that as you're trying to introduce and share a new vision. When implemented correctly, the technology is providing these students with access to so many wonderful things, communicating with others, experts, scientists, virtual tours, simulations, and these can all be used to enhance the student learning and create these authentic learning experiences. Overall, the positive of this are students using their creativity, their critical thinking, they're communicating, they're gaining new information, learning about leadership skills and accountability. And then the challenges are definitely the cyberbullying, that social media, even identity theft, copyright infringement, and just learning to be a digital citizen. The 7 common barriers that obstruct tech adoption in education. There's many speed bumps in any vision and plan. So these are the ones they talked about for education. Lack of vision. Even when a school has a desire to become more innovative, in order for it to be meaningful, there has to be a vision and a plan, and you really need that buy-in and that culture in the school. Changing what a teacher's role should be, the need for classrooms to become more student-centered and introduce more inquiry-based. It forces teachers to let go a little bit, and that's definitely can be a new scary kind of a risk for some teachers to become more, the students have more control over what they're learning and how they're learning. Considering the achievement gap, while planning, the schools need to be aware of what their community needs. What are the experiences and socioeconomic needs of the students? They'll have different opportunities outside of the school, and the school needs to be aware of what those needs are when they're developing a plan. Figuring out how to scale promising innovations. Schools also have to find a way for teachers to feel successful, to share successes, to collaborate, to feel like they're not alone. Sometimes if you're just in the classroom doing your thing, you may not feel that you're included and that everyone's working on this together. So figuring out ways for teachers to share those ideas, collaborate with them. The next one was thinking beyond textbooks. Textbooks are a huge expense for schools, and so some schools are thinking outside the box on what are some digital options for us. Next one is lacking money. Budget is always a huge concern, so schools are having to prioritize what they need for their school and how important those technology enhancements are. Having a strong infrastructure in place, schools must make sure that teachers are trained, they're encouraged and supportive in order for them to feel successful and teach effectively. Just adding the devices are not going to create the change that students need. The next article was a digital divide, looking at that a quarter of the nation is without broadband. The internet has quickly changed the way we live, the way we communicate, the way we get information. So currently, not everyone has access to that. And for just a few reasons, socioeconomic or geography, it's a large problem that is not going to be fixed easily. It talked about how solutions need to be beneficial to all parties involved. And definitely there's some consideration in what do we do as technology continues to improve and advance? What type of networks are we building, and how do we plan for that? So there was a lot of different aspects of understanding that people are in need of this, the way we're living our lives today, but how do we make sure everyone gets it? Open educational resources. There are so many resources out there that it's becoming more enticing to education as it provides a variety of lessons and materials, and it's starting to become more in a curriculum format instead of just teachers having to find something here to supplement and find something there. So this may be an option to replace expensive textbooks, and it also provides teachers the opportunity to collaborate and make things better. That's what we do. We continuously try and make our lessons better and changing to what the students need. I was also very intrigued and impressed by the illustrative mathematics that they talked about, and they had a link. That little video that they showed was very impressive of what they were videoing and learning from just teachers getting together and looking at students' responses and why they made those responses and adjusting their teaching on that. I thought that was a great way to continue planning and making changes. The ICT adoption barriers. This video, it was very exciting for me. It talked about how elementary teachers, we need to be innovative, and this is where students need to get it. They need to get it in the primary grades. And they talked about this because we have less constraints. We have the most time with the students. We can provide different effective pedagogy throughout the day. We can integrate what we're teaching. We can establish a culture. We can allow them to take risk, and we can take risk, and we can adjust those as we're learning together. And we definitely have more time to do that. I was very excited by this. We are getting ready to present to the board to see if we can get qualified for a Gemini school in Kansas. So that I was happy to see this. It kind of integrated or made me feel like, okay, we're on the right track. We're doing the right thing. So this video is exciting for me right now. So looking at the questions, do you feel the digital divide can be resolved? Why or why not? I believe it can be improved, especially in rural and low socioeconomic areas. It needs to be, because we do need to work to improve people's ability to have access, because it's becoming such an important part of our daily lives. But the problem is much bigger than that, than just saying, oh, they need internet. Let's put a few wires out. There are so many different aspects of it that there are going to be many, many challenges. So it'll be interesting to see how that gap decreases. What skill sets do you feel 21st century students must acquire prior to graduation? There are so many things that we're helping students learn, even just awareness of different aspects of technology, becoming critical thinkers. And that goes along with analyzing information, being able to take the information you get or receive online and decide for yourself what you're going to believe or take from that. Communicating with others. We need to continue to learn how to communicate and collaborate with others, whether it's online or in person. I also think teaching students to not be afraid to put forth that effort. We're becoming such consumers, like watching the kiddos, some of them with their video games, they're kind of that sit and get, when really if we teach, if that's exciting to them, they could become the producers, learn from what they're getting and be creative and can produce themselves. And then of course, teaching that digital literacy. Looking at the impact of the global economy and my personal use of the internet, well, definitely product research. I feel like now anytime we want to buy something, you look online, whether for where to buy it, pricing, the quality. If we want to do any type of house project, I know we're looking up to see how you can do it, different methods. Is it something that we can do ourselves? And definitely global access. Shopping has definitely become much broader. We can order things from anywhere instead of just the local stores. And then definitely social media and connecting, communicating with that. What technology training do I still need to be effective in the classroom? I would say even continual awareness for myself, because that awareness is a catalyst for learning. I need to continue to keep learning, especially as the world keeps changing. And I also need to make sure that I'm integrating even the technology and cross curriculum to make sure that I am enhancing student learning and not just making it fun. I feel like we can do both. We can make it fun and engaging and also effective and beneficial. And I just need to make sure that how it is enhancing the student learning. Is my school equipped with 21st century technology? I believe we are constantly working towards it. As of right now, we all have the Apple TV projectors in our classroom. We have one-to-one devices, the K through 2, and this is district-wide. The K through 2 have iPods one-to-one, and the 3rd through 5th, we have Chromebooks. Those all stay here at the school. But the 6th grade through 12th grade, they all get assigned MacBooks, and those go home. The school keeps them in the summer and works on them, and then they're issued the same one back. So, and then also we have currently worked this year to create a career STEAM lab, and we've worked with community members and businesses, and we've really tried to introduce them to all aspects of different jobs and careers that are out there and involving the technology. And we've done all that through surveys and their interest. So that's something that we're trying to build on also. What are the advantages of innovative practices in schools? Well, it's definitely intriguing for students. I believe the more information and awareness you give to them, the more their inquiry and their asking and their learning and their thinking about. There have been so many different things that we've introduced them to this year that it's opened their eyes to what's out there. And that's really exciting to see. I don't know that we've done that in the past and not even realized that we haven't done it. And also it's teaching the problem solving with all of these inquiry-based projects that are all tied to different careers. There has been so much problem solving, and we've brought in people in the community to help them with that and taken field trips to different businesses. And also it's teaching them digital literacy skills, collaboration. A lot of these they've done in very small groups. And I believe all of these, along with the critical thinking and problem solving, they're all life skills that we are teaching them just by trying to be innovative. The disadvantages, as with anything, it's time. It's always time in education. Who has the time? But we're trying our best. And then the shifts in relevance. I know, especially when you're talking about technology, it's going to be changing. It's not stagnant. So how are we addressing these needs from year to year? And the teacher understanding. Sometimes it's hard to understand these new things. I know when I do introduce the coding classes and different things, which it's great to see that they surpass me of my basic understanding. I can get them started and then they surpass me. But, and also making sure that I can introduce these new things. And I think it's great when they can just take it and run, but understanding how that's helping them and enhancing our entire learning in the classroom. And then making sure that students understand that impact of being connected to the world, that global connection, that social media. And sometimes at this age, it's really hard to understand the cause and effect and how looking at that big picture. It's not just sending a quick message or a picture to your friend, and what those consequences can be with that can be a hard lesson. Have I experienced any problems with cyberbullying or anything inappropriate? Some years I have. I'm glad to say that I feel like in the last few it's gotten less. And I'm wondering if it has to do more with parent awareness of some of these social media and different sites. Little things in the classroom were like Google Classroom. I've been able to fix that just by the settings and what they can respond to or not. And once they realize, oh wait, the teacher can see those comments, that's stopped. we have in the past have had problems with Snapchat, some comments being misunderstood, some even police officers we've had to get involved because of what was being said. I know a parent has reported, so I've had to talk to a police officer, but everything went well, but it was just making sure all the steps were followed to make sure that everyone was safe, and that if any misunderstanding or misconceptions were understood, and that a lot of lessons were taught in those situations. And there weren't many, there were just a couple, but it was a big deal. And that is the end of my module. Thank you.